Welcome to the September 12, 2018 Delhi Board of Trustees meeting. We will open our meeting as we usually do with a Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Our moment of silence tonight is in memory of Ruth Pritchard. She's mother of one of our firefighters, Pete Pritchard, and grandmother of another of our firefighters, Ben Pritchard. She's survived by her children, Molly Tufts, Patrick Pritchard, and Pete Pritchard, and their spouses, 7 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. Mrs. Pritchard truly demonstrated a life well lived. May she rest in peace. We also want to send our sympathies out to the Highlander community who lost a senior student today. Prayers go out to all of them. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you so very much. Mr. Luby, approval of the minutes.
Motion 2018-165, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on August 29th, 2018, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2018-165.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Motion 2018-166, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on September 6th, 2018, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2018-166.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Motion 2018-167, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2018-167.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Motion 2018-168, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending August 28th, 2018.
I move motion 2018-168.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Report from the fiscal officer.
Resolution 2018-173, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the Township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
As far as significant transactions since the last meeting, as far as deposits, on 8/31, we received $27,000 for an EMS reimbursement. On 9/12, we did receive a reimbursement, we received the homestead rollback in the amount of $903,000. As far as disbursements, we do have our reimbursements to all the school districts of the TIF funds. We cut those checks on 9/12. We have $42,000 going to the Cincinnati Public Schools, $984,000 going to Oak Hill Schools, and $52,000 going to the Great Oak Career Campuses. On 9/6/18, we had payroll of $260,000. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Trustee correspondence, Trustee Seavey.
Yes, this morning the Delhi Business Association reconvened for the year, and there's just some dates that I want to bring out to everyone's attention. The first will be the Dog Days, and that is in October, and I didn't write the date down. I think it's like the 27th. 27th. Okay, thank you, Josh. The second one is the Mount St. Joseph University is having, again, their trick-or-treats, and this is the 50th year that the university has had the trick-or-treats for kids, and that is October the 23rd from 6 to 8. So they are looking for candy donations, so if anybody wants to donate candy, give us a call, and we'll make sure that the Mount gets your donation. And last, yes, folks, the Christmas parade is 12/1, so if you can start to remember the date and the time in the morning there on Delhi Pike, and we'll look for you in the snow. That's
Right.
all I have.
Right. And for the parade, if anybody, any organizations want to be in the parade, go to the DBA website for the application. Deadline is October 30th. I want to thank the DBA for a beautiful event they held last week. Bacon, bourbon, and beer. It was for their members, but it was really well done. A little trivia, lots of bacon, of which we ourselves imbibed in, and a little beer and a little booze. So thank you for that. It's a precursor to our speakeasy, which is the 21st. And that's all I have. Okay, thank you. Administration, please, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2018-174, resolution authorizing and entering into the Delhi Township Medical Plan Amendment and Summary of Material Modifications with Custom Design Benefits, LLC, Custom Design Benefits, in connection with the provision of certain self-insured group health benefits for eligible township employees and officers, authorizing the township administrator to execute and deliver all necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution? Mrs. Hermes?
This will be the second year that we stay with custom design benefits. This will be our third year self-insured. We believe it's going well. We like the information that we can receive when we're self-insured is much more encompassing. So I'm looking forward to a continued good relationship with them.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-175, resolution authorizing and entering into a renewal agreement with Dental Care Plus for the provision of group dental insurance benefits for eligible township employees and officers, authorizing the township administrator to execute and deliver the necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mrs. Hermes?
This is a renewal with Dental Care Plus. We've been with them for several years. It is a 2% increase, which is really not that high, especially when you look at the dental numbers, but it is a rate guarantee for a couple years.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-176, resolution authorizing and entering into an agreement with Guardwell LLC for the provision of identity protection services for eligible township employees and officers, authorizing the township administrator to execute and deliver the necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mrs. Hermes?
This is a new benefit we'd like to offer for employees. It's 100% employee paid, so it's an optional benefit for employees that want to have someone look over their credit reports and identity theft, and it includes a family as well. So in the HR world, we're hearing more and more about identity theft, especially for minors. So it was one of those things that we thought would be a nice benefit to add for our employees.
Melanie, this is a Section 125. Does this fall under that or not?
I'm not 100% sure. I've heard both ways. I think they prefer it not to be 125, just to make sure that people are paying, that it's not pre-tax, but they do it after tax.
Okay. All right, thanks.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-177, resolution authorizing and entering into the excess loss insurance policy contract with Symetra Life Insurance Company in connection with the provision of group health insurance benefits through an individual self-insurance program for the provision of individual and aggregate stop loss protection, authorizing the township administrator to execute and deliver the necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the motion. No, wait a minute. I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mrs. Hermes?
As a component of self-insurance, we are required to have a stop-loss carrier. This is usually the way stop-loss works. I know I went into it at the last meeting, is we, with our plan, we pay all the claims, and after a certain amount, our stop loss is $50,000 per individual per year. Anything over that in a claim, the stop loss carrier reimburses. Symetra, we go out for bid with these annually, and they just had some more favorable about, there's some components about lasering, which is having a higher stop loss for certain individuals, and they just had some better offering than we could get with our current provider. Plus, they are a preferred partner for Haran, which is our insurance broker.
I move to dispense. Did you have something?
I was
Mr.
going to add just one piece. There's a total amount we can't exceed. So there's an individual amount, 50,000, and then there's a group amount that they protect us on. So we have both of those in place with the stop loss.
All right. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Parks and Recreation, we don't have anything, but I was remiss in congratulating our park director on his graduation today from the Center of Local Government Leadership Training. So it was an honor to be there to celebrate with Josh. He's been doing this for quite a few months, and we're very proud of him. So thank you for taking the time out to do that.
Thank you, Trustee. I wondered if I could steal a couple minutes to talk about some upcoming events we have in the park.
Definitely.
We have our Delhi Farmers Market this Saturday, this last month for it. We got yoga included, and we'll have a chef there showing some things. So remember that's 9 to noon on Saturday. Then we have our speakeasy spirit tasting with Northside Distillery coming up on September 21st. This morning we only had 2 open spots left that could be filled, but give us a call tomorrow and we'll see if it's still available. Should be a good time. It's going to be the Roaring Twenties themed. It should be, I think, a real neat event for people. So give us a call. We'll see if there's a spot. And the last thing is the Harvest Hootenanny. It's the first year we'll be doing this. It's a fall festival. We'll have a petting zoo, live music. We'll be showing a movie later that night. Craft booths, and then food truck, seasonal beers. It should be a good event. And that is October 20th, and that'll be all day, noon to 9 p.m. at night, Story Woods. So we're excited about that event as well.
Thanks for all your extra effort in presenting a bunch of different options for our...
One question.
Yes.
Could you give an update to everyone on the stage?
Yes, I think we're getting close here. We expect to get started here sometime in the fall. We're just working through some details. Anytime we get a grant for the state, there's just a couple extra steps to get going on it, but it's something we're excited about, and we'll be moving forward soon.
So construction will be through the fall, and we'll open the outside theater in the spring.
Yes.
Okay.
It sounds like a great
That's the
schedule.
plan. Barring a harsh winter, right? All right. Thank you for that. Thanks for all your work. Okay. Fire Department.
Motion 2018-169, approve the promotion of Austin Eckler as career firefighter paramedic in the fire department at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the IAFF Local 3389, effective upon final confirmation from the state of Ohio.
I move motion 2018-169.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Chief, did you want to talk a little bit about him?
Yes, this is, so Austin we hired as an EMT with the idea that he was going to be one of our future medics. In the process of going through medic school, he has since graduated, taken all his registry classes and stuff. So this will allow him to convert over to paramedic. So if I could add one more thing, trustees, just a reminder, we have it out, Coffee with the Chiefs, September 21st. If you haven't come out with Chief Howarth and I, this venue's a little different. It's at the Greenwell Station. So if you haven't been out to the new Greenwell Station, it's an opportunity to see that as well. So enjoy Coffee with the Chiefs, 21st, 7 a.m., 7 to 9.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we appreciate that. Thank you for doing that and being available to the public. All right, Public Works.
Resolution 2018-178, resolution with joint agreement with Hamilton County Board of Commissioners for the Hillside Avenue Slip Repair Project, number 501311, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Ripperger?
Thank you, trustees. Although Hillside is not maintained by the township, it's actually maintained by Hamilton County engineers. We did a combined effort last year on a grant and more or less just used our name for extra points, and they were able to get funding for it. It's kind of it really does benefit the residents a lot. Mainly, it kind of helps us get streets like Foley paved and stuff like that, working with them.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Okay, Police Department.
Resolution 2018-179, resolution updating and replacing the job descriptions for all police department employees. Article 12, positions, descriptions of the Delhi Township amended and restated summary of policies dated January 1st, 2014, updating staffing levels and pay rates, and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution, Chief Howarth?
No, Melanie and I have been working on this for a while, updating all the positions, and this is the final product that you have before you.
It's taken months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And thank you for both of your diligence in getting this done.
Thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-180, resolution entering into amendment number 1 to lease agreement authorized at resolution number 2018-070 with the Board of County Commissioners, Hamilton County, Ohio, regarding use of clear funding for mobile data computers and docking stations transferred to law enforcement agencies in Hamilton County, and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Chief?
Yeah, this is an amendment to an agreement we signed back in June. We signed it after we passed a resolution at that time. They had not yet signed it, so it hasn't been enacted yet. Because of this right here, for all the agencies doing the amendment, there's a little couple clerical things as far as dates that they wanted to change. You see those two things. So that's all this is updating that agreement.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it's our favorite time. Sit back with a cup of coffee. Here comes community development.
Resolution 2018-181, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 664 Libby Joe Drive, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution, Mr. DeLong?
I will speak on all resolutions right now, if that's okay with you. Just to inform the public, you're going to see two of the resolutions, or I should say 4 resolutions with the same address. I guess there'll be blocks of 2. They are because the complaints came in at separate times, so we had to do the resolutions, one for debris at one resolution, and one as excessive vegetation for the other. But overall, through resolutions 2018-181 through 189, they were all in the same condition as the original date of complaint, so we do request you to declare them a nuisance.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-182, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 1066 Beach Meadow Lane, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-183, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4911 Alverno Valley Court, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-184, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4954 Alverno Valley Court and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-185, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4954 Alverno Valley Court and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-186, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5218 Riverwatch Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-187, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5368 Plover Lane and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-188, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5368 Plover Lane and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-189, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5378 Palisades Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on the resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you, Mr. DeLong. All right, I have no forms for citizen comments tonight, so we'll go into the announcement of community events.
The Free Friday Fishing is open through September 28th. It starts from 7 a.m. and runs until dusk. It's at Clearview Lake at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Farmers Market is open every other Saturday. The next date is September 15th. Runs from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Clearview Lake at 5125 Foley Road. Delhi Township Parks and Recreation Department presents Speakeasy Spirits on Friday, September 21st from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The 5th Annual Mount St. Joe 5K will be Friday, September 21st at 6:30 p.m. It will be at Mount St. Joe University at 5701 Delhi Avenue. The Delhi Branch Library hosts a free solar workshop. It will be Monday, September 24th from 7 to 8 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road. The Mount St. Joe Community Electronic Recycling Day will be Saturday, September 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be in the Mount St. Joe West parking lot at 5701 Delhi Avenue. That's all we have.
Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Cameron?
Do we want to update on the water rates?
As of today, the townships, there's 12 in Hamilton County. 10 townships actually filed an intervention along with Hamilton County's legal department. And we are still in the midst of a fight to reduce the water hike, which is planned for 18%. So we're waiting for a decision from Judge Ruhlman on having an injunction placed on this agreement. So that's kind of where we were. It was a long afternoon with a lot of statistics and a lot of information. But I think it's important for all our Delhi residents to know that we are down there, we are represented, and we are trying our best to come to some answer as to why the unincorporated areas are getting such a hike and the incorporated areas are not. So as we proceed, we'll let you know. Any more on that, Mr. Cameron?
Well, for anybody that sees this discussion, I think the arguments were today in court, and I'm not sure how much longer those would go. So I don't know when you'll see a decision come out as to is 1.43 multiplier going to stick, or is there going to be some further freeze and you all need to talk about it some more? So if you're watching this, there's no answer yet, but your rate's the same until something shakes out of this court process.
And there is more testimony tomorrow on the case, so.
So today was supposed to be the deadline, but they're extending it, the TRO?
Well, the TRO is in place, and it's we're trying to have an injunction to reconvene the task force so that there can be a logical, acceptable increase that has data to support why we have this increase and why our rate will be different than the incorporated areas.
So I would imagine the temporary restraining order stays in place until the court proceeding.
Okay.
So this
I
is
didn't
a
know if there's a
follow-up.
deadline or not on that.
Yeah, no, I guess the deadline's whatever the court proceeding dictates at this point.
Is that right, Mr. Lane?
I'm not sure if, I think they did, they continued it, but I thought
Right.
the substantive testimony was scheduled for October 1, 2, and 3.
It was today and tomorrow. And that's the last dates that I have that they've given to the townships.
You heard something different?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. So that still gives us some more time.
Like- So I don't know about the tomorrow date, but the dates that I understood were October 1, 2, and 3. And it really will continue to be I won't say a battle, but an effort between the city and the county.
right. Well, the task force was such a good faith effort on both parts, the county and the city, to come to a acceptable, reasonable, agreed price for water. And the kind of divorced, canceled the task force on the side of the city, and that left the county with no place to present their argument or to understand the data. And so that's one of the big drivers in this, is that they need to come back to the table with a task force that allows us to understand what our rate is and how it's justified.
Ultimately, that was built in there. But ultimately, the task force recommendations are non-binding. They're advisory only, and the city does not have to abide by them or follow them or be bound by
The
them.
gentleman today that testified said more than times I could count that good faith should have brought everyone back to that table to get it resolved, and that transparency on what that rate is what's missing, and the data to support it is non-existent, at least to the county. So it's kind of a stalemate at this point.
I agree with that, but the city is simply relying on the literal language of that contract. They ignore why the task force wasn't, convened, but they like to rely on the language in the contract that says it's not binding anyway, so what's the big deal? That's the city's position.
They pick and choose. All right. Thank you.
There being no further business brought before the board, I move that we adjourn.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Meeting's adjourned. Next regular meeting is Wednesday, September 26th at 6 o'clock. Everybody stay safe.